Hello, everybody. How you doing? It is I, Brandy, otherwise known as the Terrorific Lady. Welcome to Retro Horror School Talks, where I drag guests on, kicking and screaming, to discuss retro horror movies and retro horror-related topics. And with me, I have a very special guest. I have Derrick Heisey, who is a horror author. So he writes stuff, creepy stuff.
I do.
So,
I do.
welcome, Derrick. It's so great to have you on.
It is awesome to be here. Thank you. I'm Derrick Heisey. I host the Nightmares and Grief podcast where I read my original fiction, and I actually just released a kind of splatterpunk noir book. So if you want to read Red Dragon, if Jack Ketchum wrote it, then check out To Make the World Obey.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like right up my alley. Now, I'm going to be sure to grab the links from your podcast and the stuff that you've written, so that way we could put it in the description, and that way people can click on it and check it out.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. And today's movie, oh my gosh. I was telling you before we started recording that I knew little to nothing, zero about this movie before coming into it. So it is my first watch. It is a Japanese J-horror found footage / mockumentary style film that came out in 2005. So like 20 years ago. So it's called Noroi. Or also known as The Curse. It blew my mind. So the slow burn, the creep factor, even though there's not a lot of just like music in the movie, just like the creep.
It's totally like documentary, like stillness. It's not dead air the whole time, right? But it's very sterile almost.
Yeah, it combines just even like psychological horror and supernatural horror. It mashes those two together in a ball and dials the scares up to 11. And for people thinking, oh, well, slow burn movie, I don't like slow burns, they're not scary. No, just like, but this is a slow burn with a purpose. And before we get into just talking seriously about the movie, I have seen movies that are, just say, an hour, almost an hour and a half, that felt like they dragged on. So, and Noroi was 2 hours, and it kept my attention all the way through.
Yeah. One of the things it starts off telling you, the very first thing it says is it's like the main character is going to die at the end. Right? He's just gone. He and his wife is dead. His house burned down and he's just gone. So from the beginning, you're like, oh, okay. So there's like, it has the dread is on 1, right? Yeah. And then throughout the book, the movie, it slowly dials up the dread a little bit more throughout the whole thing.
I just found it. I just found this movie just to be so unique in a lot of ways. So, like you said, there's not a lot of dead air. It could have easily gone the route of, oh, we're just going to do it all documentary style, and it's going to be just boring. But it blends the documentary style and the storytelling very well. So that's what stood out to me when I watched this. What first stood out to you when you first watched this movie all these years ago as a 19-year-old college student?
Yeah, I've watched it so many times since, but yeah, it was like how I would decide whether or not someone was going to be my friend, as I would show them Noroi.
Well, your friend watch this movie.
Yeah, if you pass that gate, then you're good. But the thing that stood out to me was that every time, like when I watched it, I was like, I feel like I understand what's happening, but I feel like I just missed something. I'm not sure what I missed. So I went back and I watched the whole thing again. And then it was almost like the sense was inside of me was scrambled. So it does this mental cup game with you, where you feel like you've got the pieces to figure out the mystery and what the big monster Kagutaba is, what the demon is, but it doesn't give you enough to really totally grasp it. So that was, I think, what stood out to me the most was that emotional or that intellectual, I don't know, like bait game.
Yeah, and I also mentioned this before we started recording too, but I really appreciated the fact that this movie treats its audience like it's intelligent, that
Mhm.
it gives you the clues, the stepping stones along the way. Like they may mention something at the very beginning of the movie, and you're like, well, what does this have to do with anything?
Yeah.
And then they come back to it about 30, maybe 40 minutes like into the film. You're like, oh, so that's how it connects. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Or he screams, the pigeons, the pigeons. And you're like, dude, guy in tinfoil is shouting the pigeons. What's going on? And then later on, 30 minutes later, like you said, pigeons start hitting windows.
Or there's this one guy who takes a pigeon off of the
Oh my
balcony.
God, yeah. Pulls an Ozzy Osbourne and just like...
It's just like he takes it and he's just like,
just
goes
walks
into
back to his apartment.
It's like, oh, that poor pigeon. And I also like, I'm no spoilers, but I do like how well, you're already kind of spoiled at the beginning. They're like, this guy's gonna die. This house is gonna burn down.
I mean, they say it at the like second frame. They tell you he's gonna die. So
yeah. So I guess there's really like no spoilers because it spoiled it pretty much in the first 20 seconds. But
yeah,
I like how at the end they made it like it was an actual documentary. Like it said something along the lines of, and this is what happened to this guy and that guy.
Yeah.
And just like, and this is what, and just seeing the footage at the end of what actually
oh my God,
happened.
the footage at the end was great. Yeah. And that's when it feels like it's so for folks who are like, oh God, I hate found footage horror because it's shaky cam all over. It's not like that at all until the last like 10 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes. And then that it's just so raw and visceral because of what's going on in that. So you have this sort of false climax, and then they're like, yeah, because Noroi set up like a movie inside of a movie, and they even do this in some of the opening sequences where you're in like the editing booth, because mediation, I have a whole thing about mediation in this movie, but it's a movie inside of a movie, right? So the Kobayashi's movie ends, and then you get the editor's movie, which is bookending Kobayashi's documentary, right? So that raw found footage at the very end is just like, oh yeah, it's maybe the I don't know have a word for it, but it's awesome. It's so good.
Yeah, I think awesome is the best word to describe this. And I'm glad that you brought up the point that this movie does not have a lot of shaky cam, because for a lot of I love found footage, but yes, it is one of my favorite subgenres of horror, but I tend to get motion sickness whenever it's a found footage movie that has a lot of shaky cam and stuff like that. Like I can't watch the Blair Witch Project anymore. So no matter how much I love it, no, I can't watch that anymore. But for those who suffer from motion sickness, like myself, I think Noroi would be a good movie for them to watch, because the cam's pretty steady. Like all the way.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's documentary style, mockumentary style, right? Yeah. So it's done very cleanly, is what I was trying to express before. It's very professional throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, and I love the slow burn in this film. Just like for me, sometimes slow burns, they either work or they don't. In this one, it works, but some people might be coming into this movie that was made 20 years ago and just be like, ugh, slow burn.
Too slow.
Yeah, too slow. Yeah. Gross. But how does the pacing and the tension, how do you feel like it compares to, like, say, horror movies that are put out now?
So I think that there's like two central mysteries when you first watch it. The first mystery is like, what the heck was Kobayashi even doing in the first place? What is he researching? Because they don't tell you. They're just like, he was researching spooky stuff and then he disappeared, right? And then you're like, okay, so that's the first question that it asks. But then as the movie goes on, you have Kobayashi's central question, which is, he's trying to figure out what the hell he's even trying to figure out, right? So you get just enough unsettling clues throughout that I think it pulls you along. It's not action-packed until, what would you say, like the last third, second half?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
clues are happening, right?
Mhm.
Things are being dropped, but if we're talking about, like, nowadays horror where it's like thrill after thrill after thrill, that kind of stuff doesn't really happen until the end.
Yeah,
I think the pacing, the slow burn here is that dread dial that I was talking about in the beginning, right?
right.
That it's that slow burn that you're just like, something's wrong here, and you want to figure out what's wrong. And you're like, if I just stay here long enough, I'll figure out what's wrong and I'll get the closure that I need.
And I I think the central theme of this film is discovery.
Mm.
You're not going to want to throw everything at people all at once. You're going to want to allow them that time to just like peel back the layers and discover things for themselves. To me,
Mhm.
that's the big like that's the coolest part like of this film is you feel like you're a detective like in a sense
Yeah.
just, like, trying to uncover these clues as to what the hell's going on.
Yeah, you're investigating just as much as Kobayashi, because the thing is that we as the viewers know just as much as him. He
Yeah.
starts out with no prior information whatsoever. He gets just dropped into this world. And I think on that theme of discovery, I think like how those discoveries are packaged is another theme of this story, because you've got the movie within the movie, and you have these lenses of perception filtering what we as the viewers are allowed to consume at a time. But yeah, it's absolutely.
Yeah. And I always like to look up after I watch a movie, like to look up what other people thought. So I
Mhm.
found something on Reddit that I thought was very interesting. Someone had just recently watched this movie, and here's what they said, just like a little snippet of it. This is the first time that a horror movie got me genuinely freaked out, and I can't explain why. Is it the build
Yeah.
is it the like, is it the buildup, the rather mundane things that eventually lead to chaos? I don't know. I can't explain it, but I wish I could. So that was like,
Yeah,
so
I remember after the first time I watched it, I just felt like something is wrong with the world, and I don't know what it is, right? It expanded beyond the film. I felt like the Kagutaba curse had expanded beyond the realm, almost like I had just watched the actual tape from The Ring, right?
ooh,
That's
yeah,
kind of what it felt like.
yeah, yeah. Like you're watching like a snuff piece almost.
Yeah, or something. I was like, I was not supposed to see this.
Like this feels so wrong, even though it's real, it feels wrong. It's wrong. And speaking of the Kagutaba, like yes, I can pronounce it. Yeah, the Kagutaba curse. It is a thing that is very central to this story.
Mhm.
And spoilers. Now this is a spoiler. You really don't even hear about Kagutaba until 40 minutes into the movie. So I clocked this. Oh, so this is the first time that they're mentioning Kagutaba, but even then they don't go
Listen
into
very carefully.
yeah, yeah, listen very carefully. Yeah. They don't even go to a big lot of detail about
Mhm.
it. So you're discovering it as the movie goes on. But this curse is very effective and central to the story. How effective do you feel that Noroi is at taking this curse and making it frightening and believable?
I think it's perfect because it's unspeakable horror god that we cannot possibly comprehend, right? And that's what makes Noroi so complex, is that Kobayashi's trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure it out. The sort of antagonist, sort of flunky of the big antagonist, Kakutaba, the Junko Ishii, she's trying to figure it out too, sort of. And everyone gets close to it, maybe, but doesn't quite understand it. So everyone gets like one face of the gemstone, right? And I think what the film does excellently is when he's introduced, you're like, oh, okay, so now it's going to start making sense. Now I'm going to get it. Now I'm going to get that dread resolved inside of me. I'm going to get that closure, right? You come to the end of it, and you're like, oh, I know Kagutaba is awful. Maybe it has something to do with ectoplasmic worms. I need to watch it again to figure it out. And then when you pick up the clues from deliberate explanation of Kagutaba, then it starts making even more sense. right? And so this kind of connects with that. The film doesn't treat you like an idiot. It rewards rewatching, because you start seeing the breadcrumbs that are left all throughout those 40 minutes before Kagutaba is mentioned.
Yeah, it is definitely, like I said, yeah, definitely worth a rewatch, and then a rewatch, because you're always going to be discovering something. I feel like I've only watched it once, so I can't speak to that, but I know from past experiences with other films of this nature that it rewards rewatches, and you're like discovering something new every time you watch it. Like, okay, and I also have to talk about Kobayashi, this paranormal researcher, reporter, guy that really has no idea what's going on. He is the main central character of the story, so the main protagonist. He's got others around him, but I think I would consider him the main protagonist.
I think he's the protagonist, yeah. Well, he's like a stand-in for the viewer, I guess you could say. Yeah. Right? We kind of we are experiencing it with him, but yeah, we view it. He's the central perception, I would say.
Yeah. I just found him so fascinating. I can't really explain much of why, so I would like to hear your thoughts as to what makes him so compelling, despite the fact that this is a slow burn documentary found footage style format.
Well, he reminds me of old Lovecraft main characters, when Lovecraft actually bothered to like write a main character, right? Yeah. So we start out, the very first thing that we hear about him is that epigraph where it's like, no matter what, I want the truth, right? Yeah. So from right off the bat, we know we get this platitude that he's obsessive. And then we see that he's obsessive. He tries to break into Ishii's house like twice, right? First time after she's moved, and he's like, well, maybe I'll just break into her house and see if I can find anything. And then again, when she just like is not at home, when she's in a different village, he's like, oh, maybe I'll just break into her house and see what's wrong, right? So he's willing to, his motivation is so strong that even though he seems like the moral center of the entire film, his motivation supersedes what we would consider regular morality, right? Think about something that you care about more than anything else, that you would be like, yeah, I would break some rules to go to protect that thing or to pursue that thing. That's what makes Kobayashi feel so real, and what makes us able to connect with him.
Yeah, and I even kind of have to wonder at the near the end of that movie, him adopting that boy. It's like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just like, is he doing this because he actually feels bad for the boy, or is he like, well, this is just like the boy?
It's
just
the
like
truth. Yeah, it's
like,
the connection.
Yeah,
it's the obsession. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know your motivations. I don't necessarily think he's a bad guy, just like you said, just an obsessive one.
He's obsessed, right? I think he's a decent guy who makes poor choices.
Yeah, just human, just like anybody else. Like,
and I mean, that obsession comes up again in like the ritual scene on the lake, right?
Yes.
Like Marika's cutting the rope and everything, and she's clearly distressed, and he's just filming. he's are you okay? Doesn't stop filming. Is everything all right? Still filming, right? I think that solves a problem that a lot of found footage horror doesn't really get to. That it's like, why are you still filming? Like, why are you still recording through all of this? Kobayashi's documentarian obsession solves that problem, and that gives us the lens into that world.
That's not something I picked up on. That makes a lot of sense. If it was somebody who wasn't as obsessive, if, like, say for instance, I had a camera and I saw this woman was clearly like distressed and freaking out, I would put down the camera. Oh my god, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, geez, no, very good observation. It's not something that I just like I think about.
Yeah,
I
and I
think
mean, we
about,
see
thought
we
about.
even see it bleed in with his wife too, right? Because when his wife is with Marika, right, and they're eating dinner, and she cooked lunch for her and everything. It's like, why would we get this random piece of footage about her? Well, it's because they're both kind of obsessive, right? It makes sense within this world, and it solves that problem of how do we have access to this information.
And that's also a good segue to what we're going to talk about next is the supporting characters around Kobayashi.
Mhm.
We're getting glimpses of them through either like footage, like you said, or there's even interesting, like they'll put clips of variety shows,
Variety
or they'll
shows,
put
yeah.
clips of talk shows. So interviews, footage, so you get glimpses of the supporting characters surrounding Kobayashi in this way. Now, how do you feel it impacts this story's realism and creep factor? Because I was a little creeped out, just like at all
It
that.
it was so good. So first of all, it makes the world bleed out, right? It's not just about Kobayashi. It makes you feel like the problem of Kagutaba is a global problem because it doesn't exist just within whenever Kobayashi looks at it, right? Because there's real people with different lives outside of the direct documentary. There's variety shows that are not even in the same place. Plus, Kagutaba goes through time and space to show up in these different things again, right? To show all these different connected pieces. So it really enhances that dread. And sometimes what it also does is it goes with that mediation piece that I had kind of referenced before, where you have to realize that if you in the world of Noroi, the whole movie is edited posthumously, right? Because Kobayashi's gone.
Yeah.
And then the entire thing is edited afterwards by someone we don't know. And so someone else has picked up all these different pieces, these different variety shows, and they're putting it together to make it fit within a narrative, which is exactly what we as the viewers are trying to do. We're taking all these pieces that are being given to us and making them fit within a narrative. And then even within those variety pieces, like Mr. Hori, they're trying to make him fit into a narrative when they push him out onto stage. And he's like, I really don't want to be here. I'm not comfortable.
Yeah.
And everyone's weirded out by him because he doesn't fit into their narrative, right? So I think creep factor, it makes the entire world bigger. It makes the impact of the curse larger, and it makes it grounded in an actual place.
The fact that they're not afraid to use kids, like either some
Oh
horror
my
movies,
God. Yeah.
some horror movies, are actually about 99% of horror movies. The big no is that you do
No
not
kids.
use like kids or hurt kids or harm
Yeah.
kids in any way. And whenever I saw this movie wasn't shying away from that in the slightest. It just also gives a more realistic impression that nobody's safe. It doesn't matter whether you're an adult, doesn't matter whether you're a child, a baby, maybe. It's just like nobody's safe, and that's what
Nobody's
makes
safe.
it all the more terrifying.
Did you notice that most of the I want to say most of, part of me wants to say all of, but most of the close-ups are just on kids. There's like it made me uncomfortable when I rewatched it the other day, and I noticed there's just so many close-ups of kids' faces.
Wow. I remember seeing a close up a woman holding a baby. So there's like extreme like zoom in a close up.
Yeah.
And well, I remember seeing what was it, the clip of was it Kana with all the weird baby children like creatures. I
Yeah,
was like,
the pile of fetuses, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, children are there's like some link there, right? There's some link with innocence there, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is. But I don't know. I don't know if they were just like, well, that's just the horror movie cliche. Unspeakable horror God wants the innocent. But I feel like there's something more. There's something more.
Yeah, the one girl, Akana, she's the one that young girl intrigued me because of the fact that she had ESP and she would say creepy stuff throughout, like the whatever.
I guess
like,
we're all doomed.
Yeah, guess it's too late for all of us.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Come again? What did you say?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, creepy kids. Yeah. No, I don't care if they're just evil or if they're just kids saying creepy things. Just like, no.
Kids who know more than us. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the inversion that's not comfortable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and kind of on that note, like Hori is sort of like in this childlike state, even though he is a grown man, because he can't handle all of the information that he's receiving.
Yeah, so he's you have to wonder in a sense. They said he was a psychic.
Super psychic. He was a super psychic.
So not just psychic, but super psychic. So So maybe that's also part of why you said he acted just a little bit childlike, because
and Kana didn't have any fear of him at all. Like that was something that stuck out to me the other day. Kana went with Mr. Hori at one point because Kana had no fear of him, right?
Yeah, maybe she also in a sense felt empathy because she too also had psychic.
Had the gift. Excellent point.
Gifts. Yeah. So there's just so many things to think about in this movie. But one thing that I did notice is that this Noroi doesn't rely a lot on jump scares. So jump scare is a very just popular trope. Some people think it's overused. I don't mind it if it's used the right way. But yeah, this isn't a big silence. Something jumps out. No. No, it's all atmosphere and investigation and character. It's very much a character-driven movie. So
absolutely.
I would like to know what character-driven moments in this film did you find the most unnerving or disturbing?
Mr. Hori is my boy. He's like my favorite of like Kobayashi. I feel like is that stand-in, kind of like the shape that I can view the whole thing. But Mr. Hori was my favorite. I remember first year I saw it, I went as him for Halloween.
Nice.
And but the thing that jumped out that sticks with me with him is when they come back from Kana's place after she vanishes, right? And they're asking Hori like, what do you know? Is there anything you can you help us? And he realizes something is in the guy's bag. And he just starts taking stuff out, and he's trying to communicate. And you can see how tortured he is trying to explain. And Kobayashi's like, here's a map. Where do you want to take us? And he's like, I can't deal with the map right now. Right? Like this physical, it's like he was so inundated with information that he's like, this physical information, this physical representation of the information is useless to me. I have to communicate it to you outside of my physical abilities, and I can't do that because you're not on my level, right? But it makes him look from our perspective like he's just not capable, but he's super capable, right? So that sticks out to me. When the moment when Marika realizes that everything is actually real, because I have this sort of theory that she thinks that maybe this is all, she's still kind of like denying things until maybe the issue at the playground with I'm probably blowing the movie for everyone, but the issue at the playground, that's when I think she realizes, oh no, this because she's an actress, right? And so she's used to just playing the game. And then she kind of realizes, no, this is all actually real. This is all actually happening. Those are the two moments that stick out the most for me, I think. What about you?
I along the same lines as Mr. Hori. So after like Kobayashi was going to him to find out more, it's like, where's this little girl?
Mhm.
What's going on? Like, what's happening? Just the way that Mr. Hori was freaking out, the fact that she's been eaten by ectoplasmic and she's got it. It's just like just the way it may sound silly, just me saying it, just like ectoplasmic works, but just the way that he was acting and just almost
and the
just like
grunts
the sheer,
and everything.
Yeah, the sheer terror that you could see. You were both like unnerved by his behavior and also worried at the same time. It's just like, well, is this girl like dead? Like, what's going on? No.
I was also worried for Hori too. I was just worried for everyone in that scene.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there were times that I felt this really, really bad for him. So I felt as sympathetic as little Kana like did towards him. Just like, dang, I can't imagine having to deal with being, I guess, a receiver of all that information, and you can't tune it out in any way.
Yeah,
you're basically human radio in a sense. Like everything's coming in, and you can't shut it off.
And then you're not able to communicate it. I think that's his greatest curse, right? Because so like everyone else in the movie is able to communicate what they perceive, and they just get a fraction of the entire truth. Hori gets a much larger percentage of the truth, but he can only communicate a fraction of it.
Yeah. Also, it reminds me too of, we're talking Greek mythology, Cassandra, the one who was cursed to really have. She gets like all like the
she has the
prophecies and had nobody believe her. So in a way, I feel that's what Mr. Hori is like. He's getting, like you said, a very large fractions of information, and people are kind of looking at him like he's this weirdo, and nobody's really believing him or knows really how to believe him.
He just needs a PR guy. That's what he needs.
Yeah, he does. He does. A psychic PR guy. She's like, okay, there we go. And okay, we mentioned several times that Noroi is a found footage movie, and it can get very gimmicky very fast. But I didn't feel like it was gimmicky here. So it's a very meticulous and careful with its approach. So why does it work? Why does this approach, the found footage documentary style approach, work for this film? Why didn't they just use, like, say, just, you think, a regular storytelling approach? And that's it.
I think because it's a really good question. I think they want us to participate in the whole thing, right? I have this sort of headcanon that the creators of the movie were like, kind of like what I was saying about The Ring. They're like, what if we made our own cursed film, right? A film that you participate in? Because I feel like Kobayashi creating the documentary is the completion of the curse. If there was so the medium of the storytelling is just as important as the core narrative itself. Because if it was just some dude going out and like trying to uncover this, like Dresden Files style, then it wouldn't activate the curse the same way. I think it has to spread through the medium. It has to spread through us. That's why it feels so invasive and so wrong at the end of it, because we've participated in the whole thing, right? And it's clear when you watch it a second time, it's clear that this has all been cosmically premeditated, and it makes you realize Kobayashi's being led to where he needs to go. And then by joining him and breaking that fourth wall, it gives us that closer psychic distance to what Kobayashi's experiencing. But we never quite get that close. We never quite actually experience the truth because it's mediated through the edited documentary. What about you? What was solid for you?
I kind of like that Reddit person. It's like very hard for me to explain exactly what I appreciate about it. I think if I was going to say one thing, it would probably be the realism of it all. Yes, much like Hell House LLC is another found footage
Yeah.
film that came out in 2015, 2016. They're presenting it like it's a documentary
Mhm.
that you would see on TV. So I think I like horror movies with a sense of realism behind them.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite kinds of subgenres and like things to explore. So I think that's probably the realism. And
Yeah.
my long story short is I feel what works for me for this.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot like internet creepypasta, right? Like
Yeah.
right, inviting you into it and making you think, is it real? Is it not real? I don't know. It can't be real. No, it can't be real. Do I make it real?
Yeah. And oh, also, it may seem like a little thing, but time cards. So the use of time cards, the progression of just
Mm.
like the dates and the months, and it goes, I think, into you could see that pretty much almost maybe 6 months had passed because it started in 1 year and then it crosses over into
Into the night,
January and then
yeah.
February and I think even into March, if I remember correctly. So I don't know, something. I think the time cards also just shows like gives credence to the realism. Just like this time is passing. This is actually a documentary.
And it also leads into that obsession thing too, right? Like this wasn't like Kobayashi did this over a weekend, right? This was no Blair Witch,
No,
right? They weren't planning to, he wasn't planning to pack up the car, go to the cursed village and then come home, right? This was, like you said, a real documentary. So you can see he's not giving up. He's like the dog that's bit down, that's not letting go.
yeah, and something else I feel that works too is the sound design and the visuals used in this film. I feel add a big credence to the creep factor
Yeah.
behind this movie. I don't think the only music that I can pinpoint is like later on in the movie where it used almost a synth style, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom,
There's just
almost
like
like
atmosphere just going on in the background, just texture.
and the kind of synth style reminded me of John Carpenter's The Thing, just like that kind of
Yeah.
that heartbeat kind of
Mhm.
music. So I kind of wondering, it's like, well, did they get inspiration from that? I don't know. I'm always looking for John Carpenter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you're a John Carpenter fan.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you found. I'm impressed. I am really impressed you found a connection, but it's there. I've got to give you credence.
Yeah.
Got to give you credit.
So that's like my one John Carpenter mention that I yes. But yes, sound design, visuals, soundscape. There were certain points in this movie where the way they used sound kind of made me cringe, and I was just like back away because it was just so unsettling. Were there any points in the movie like that for you with the way they use sound almost made it just kind of cringy and unbearable? Not cringy in a bad way.
I know. Like withdrawing.
Yes.
The fight, flight, freeze.
Yes.
Going back to that horror scene when he's freaking out and then the video corrupts and then you get the glimpse of the Kagutaba masks and the video corrupts and then they try to play it back and then when they play it back and they slow it down, Hori's voice like elongates and just distorts and it's like, well, yeah, that's just the way it's supposed to be, right? Because they slowed the video down. But at the same time, because you've got this swipe, this reveal of the masks, and at the time you're like, what am I looking at? What is this? And then you hear the sound, you're like, oh my god, like what's happening? Other thing is baby screams all over the place. Like, yeah. Like some movies the omen is a raven or something. In this movie it's a baby scream. So if you watch the movie and you hear a baby scream, something bad is going to happen. So that always, and then the way again that they make everything just quiet enough, you have to kind of lean in and listen for those extra sounds. Like when the scene where Marika is like possessed, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then they're like have to try to listen. It's like, what did it say? Did it say Kagutaba? we're not really sure what it said, right? Yeah, no, it's sound is definitely what I was trying to say before is they don't use a lot of sound because when they use it, it really slaps.
Yeah, it's very purposeful
Mhm.
and intentional. I would have to say the part that unnerved me the most with the use of sound is this researcher's like, hey, yeah, I isolated this sound, and you may think it sounds like cats at first, but it's actually newborn babies. I'm like, what?
And how chipper he is about the whole thing.
And it's like, yeah, it's just like this is awesome. It's just like, no, it's not. Why? How can you be so calm about all of this? Maybe it's because he's kind of an outsider in that sense. That he was brought this audio and they were like, here, analyze this. So it's like, okay,
Mhm.
well, it sounds like you think it's cats, but it's actually newborn babies. Da, 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 da. It's like,
Well, I mean, both the researchers, like both the scientists in the movie are like that because when they bring the vial of water to for that Kana maid,
oh my
right?
god.
And then he's like, yeah, we found a hair in the water. We researching, and I guess it's a newborn baby's hair. That's just it. It's like this child psychically manifested baby's hair in water on a variety TV show, and you're just chill about it.
Yeah, whenever I first saw there was a hair, it's just like,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't care if it was an animal hair or a baby's hair or like a human's hair, but me, I've seen so many horror movies. My first thoughts went to, oh my god, that's human hair.
Yeah, that's
That
exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. You thought it. I thought it. Everybody thought it.
yeah. But they're like, yeah, the water seems to have come from a lake and it's got plankton in it and a hair. Yeah, it's just an
Yeah.
average Tuesday.
Yeah, jeez. It's like, what's going on in Japan, guys?
Man, I will have to say this about J horror. They go there.
Yeah, they
So
go
when
there.
especially if we're talking about early to mid 2000s,
Mhm.
we didn't have a lot of horror movies that would go there with just that level of tension and dread. And they were not afraid to. They were just like, yeah, just like dread, tension, freaking you out, no
Yeah,
problem. We're just gonna dial up to 11, just shove it right in your freaking face.
yeah.
So,
J horror is best horror.
yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yep, K horror is not too far behind for me.
K horror is definitely solid. It's like I will say I have never seen a Korean movie that I have disliked.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you there. So yeah, things like Train to Busan, Tale of Two
mhm.
Sisters. So
Oh
very
my god, that entire yeah, and the entire Vengeance trilogy was amazing.
uh,
The one with
that's,
Old Boy in it. So
oh my
it's not really a
oh,
horror, but it's like crime. Yeah, so you've got
oh
oh
boy,
yeah, that whole trilogy is so good. That whole trilogy is so good.
old boy, good movie. Rough watch. One I could not rewatch over and over again. Once was enough for me as far as that movie goes. Wow, that's all I'm gonna. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, so I guess let's veer away from
Mhm.
very kind of
Yeah.
disturbing K horror movies, K horror thriller like movies, and just go back to. I always like looking at how a movie is edited because editing can make or break a film.
Mhm.
It could keep the pacing, it can keep you engaged, or it can bore the absolute crap out of you. Especially for a movie like Noroi, editing is so important
Mhm.
because the movie could have easily dragged. It could have been way too slow with the choices on how they edited it. But I felt it was very well done and in the way that they pieced the footage together. So let me ask, how did the way that this footage was pieced together contribute to the creep factor that there's just always something lurking out there and we don't quite know what it is?
It's that pacing, right?
Yeah.
So, when you're writing a story, when you're writing a horror story, particularly a long one, you've got to have creep factors and then time to let the reader breathe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so Noroi does this by giving you investigation scenes broken up by variety shows, right?
Yeah.
And then having having that breaking it up and then but never really releasing the gas on the dread, but then pushing the gas on the creep in other scenes. I think that's how it maintains its pacing and doesn't feel slow.
It may seem random, but the way that they put clips of just these interviews and these variety shows and these talk shows, at first you may be like, people may be like, this is random. What the heck are we doing just watching this weird kind of out there Japanese variety show? But it serves its purpose. So things that may seem plunked in the editing at random serves its purpose. You just gotta be watchful to try and figure that out.
And I think that plunked in is an excellent way to describe it, because it comes in without any transition.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It'll just be like footage from a variety show from last year. Right. And then it'll be like psychic children doing random stuff. And you're like, what the heck is this? But then it's like human hair in a water bottle. And you're like, okay, there's clearly something connected here.
Yeah, and that is a very good point. And also, I feel the way those kind of plunked in pieces of footage breaks up the pacing and helps keep it interesting for the viewer, because it's that they could have chosen to be like, okay, this is straight up just Kobayashi talking, researching, interviewing people.
That would have been so boring.
And yeah, that could have gotten really old really fast. But then he's going on, talking, interviewing. It's like Japanese variety show from last year. Like, wait, what? Oh, what is this? I'm interested.
And it keeps you guessing, right? Because you're constantly, it's that mystery again. It's like, what is even going on here, right? So you never really get a chance in the movie to get your feet on the ground until like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because it's built up all these clues and just has you figuring out stuff, and then it's just like, okay, like here's the payoff, but then I'm still at the end like, what? I have to watch this again right now.
What did I even just watch?
Yeah, it's just like
the world has changed, or maybe I've changed.
Well, I am a different person now after watching this than I was before. But yeah, as an aside, I'm very glad that you recommended this film to talk about, because I'm always very interested in just weird outside of the box that kind of horror films, and so this was right up my alley. So I'm glad that you recommended.
I'm glad you liked it. I'm so glad.
To talk about
spreading the disease.
Yes, so spreading the curse.
Yes, there we go.
Mm-hmm. And I feel that this movie, from looking at how people react to it and how they think about it now, I feel that this movie has steadily grown a following over the years. I haven't really seen any really bad reviews, other than the fact that some people might think it's boring, but then
it's slow. Yeah, they'll say it's slow.
Yeah, they'll say it's slow, it's boring, but those that like it, they like it, and they are not afraid to recommend it to people like yourself.
Like me. Yeah, we're devotees. I think there's only two kinds of people who love Noroi and people who it just is too slow.
It doesn't like click with them, and just like that's fine. That's why there's all sorts of horror subgenres out there. But anyway, circling back to what I want to talk about was just like this. It's gained, I felt, cult following over the years from like what I've read and what people think about it. So what are your thoughts on why you think this film has resonated so strongly with people?
I think one of the biggest things is something you pointed out at the beginning. It assumes its viewership is intelligent from the beginning, right? And I think, especially in horror, we're kind of used to being like the folks who are producing horror think we're a bunch of dummies and we just want visceral stuff. I mean, obviously there's exceptions, but I think the fact that it comes in right off the bat, expecting us to do the heavy lifting of the thinking and rewards rewatchability is really what makes it so special. And the fact that it just it does the dread dial thing slowly through the whole bit, and you don't even realize that the volume is going up in your head until the very end when there's a pile of fetuses, right? And then and everything just dissolves into chaos, and you're panicked, and you're just as panicked as them. And I think that's really it. Is it treats you like an adult, and it rewards you watching it over and over again.
And if you were trying to sell this movie to somebody, say, here, like, there's this film, Noroi, I think you should watch it, and they're coming at you like, well, why? Why should I watch this movie? What would be your elevator pitch?
All right. I would say that if you want a film where the ending makes you sit quiet and feel like almost imperceptibly like something's wrong with the world, and it makes you feel like the answer is dangling just in front of you, like if you just watch it one more time, then maybe you'll get it, and makes you just as obsessed as the protagonist, then you've got to watch Noroi.
Yeah. Or that my elevator pitch would be like, okay, don't look up anything about this movie and just go into it.
Just go into it. That's probably a better one, because that's how I found it too. Yeah. Your pitch is better than mine. Good job, Brandy. Way better.
Thank you.
The pitch is just go watch it.
Yeah, I think that's as good a pitch as any. All right, now we've come to the portion of Retro Horror School Talks that I like to call the Retro Lightning Round. So I do this near the end of every episode. So what I do is I have a few questions that related to the movie, movie or adjacent to the movie, and you give the first answer that pops into your head. You can leave it at that, or you can expand on your answer as much as you like. So, okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So first question we have here. So the Kagutaba curse. What is the first place that you would not want to encounter it?
Either a school or Central Park.
Oh.
Yeah, Central Park because of the pigeons.
And then a school because of the kids.
Because of the children.
Yeah. Like, yeah. So, second question. If you could investigate one supernatural event from the movie yourself, what would it be?
What happened to my boy Hori? Like, what was the true story behind my boy Hori?
That's a mystery that this movie does not really solve.
It doesn't answer, and I am still cursed by, like, tormented by it to this day.
Next question. A moment from the movie that makes your skin crawl no matter how many times you've seen this movie.
Kanayana and the crawling pile of fetuses.
Yeah, that was pretty gross.
Yeah.
Next question. What is one found footage horror movie that you would pair with Noroi if you were going to do a double feature?
Poughkeepsie tapes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Because they're both like have that clean cut style, but they're both just like everything is wrong, right? And they're both about trying to figure out the mystery after the fact. I don't know. That's me. Poughkeepsie tapes.
Okay. Yeah. Poughkeepsie tapes, not for me. It didn't.
Understandable. Understandable.
Yeah, not for me. Just in the sense that it. I feel at times that it was way too, expository in the way it presented things and unrealistic situations. Like, for instance, okay, I guess the one gripe I have about it's like, okay, nobody noticed that anything was going on. Nobody. You would have to like see something. What?
I mean, it's been a while since I've watched it, but John Wayne Gacy got away with a lot of horrible stuff for a really long time. And all anyone was like, I don't know, his house just kind of stinks. Yeah. I mean, Ed Gein got away with like skin lampshades. I mean, granted, he was out in the middle of nowhere, but people still visited his home.
Ed Gein, yeah.
Yeah. Ed Gein, yeah.
Yeah, geez, yeah. gross.
Yeah. So yeah, I get it. I get it. Poughkeepsie's
No.
not for everyone.
Yeah. And then last question. What is the one hill that you would die on when it comes to this movie?
I kind of talk about this a little bit throughout the thing, but the medium of the storytelling is part of the story itself. I think that's the big thing. Like the format is part of the message.
Very good hill to die on. Like, so if I'd say if you like found footage, you like the mockumentary style, you like that kind of storytelling, then I think that you would really enjoy Noroi. If that's not up your alley, you might want to avoid it. But even if it's something that's not up your alley, just give it a shot. You may not know if you like it or not. So
yeah, I think it's something special. I know people who don't like found footage who like Noroi. So
there we go. So found footage, they don't like it because they feel like it's kind of gimmicky or just like kind of
yeah. I don't think there's yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a film that definitely Noroi, it leaves you thinking about it long after the credits roll, and it makes you just want to go back, or the credits. I say it just very liberally. There's not that many credits, if at all, but it just leaves you thinking, and it's definitely, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend you watch it. If you have seen it, go back and watch it again so you can pick up on the stuff that you missed. So it's really great talking this film with you, Derrick. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me and dissecting. It's always a pleasure dissecting films, like horror films, especially ones like this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This was awesome. I got to nerd out about my favorite films. So
yes. Well, that's what we're here for. So, where can people find you and what you do? Like social, you could toss out your social media, like website if you have any. So just lay it all out there.
All right, so laying it all out. So you can find me on YouTube. Just look up Nightmares and Grief. You can listen to my stories. If you're interested in that book I talked about at the beginning, I have like the first 25 chapters up recorded on there, so you can check it out. It's called To Make the World Obey. I've got 2 anthologies on Amazon you can check out, also called Nightmares and Grief. Nightmaresandgrief.com. Pretty much anywhere on the internet, look up Nightmares and Grief. You can probably find me.
There you go. He's made it very easy. So I will have the links to everything that you do in the whatever it's called description box. There we go.
In the description. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. So everybody, thank you for watching, and please don't go investigating any like weird cat.
If you hear babies scream, run.
Yeah. Sounds. No, just don't do
it. If your kid manifests water with hair in it, then
run.
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 Yeah. Or invest in tinfoil.